Visa's spent 1.9 trillion AI tokens in a single month, and the company that just made that kind of usage 10 times cheaper isn't OpenAI. It isn't Google. It's a Chinese lab that was supposed to be losing the race. DeepSeek just dropped V4, slashed API prices by up to 90%, and validated its model on both NVIDIA and Huawei chips. That last part is the detail nobody's talking about because it means China is no longer just building powerful models. It's building an entire AI ecosystem that can survive without American hardware. And stay with me here because the number that makes all of this make sense is coming in about 2 minutes. First, the pricing. 1 million input tokens on DeepSeek V4 Pro dropped for around 14.5 cents to 3.6 cents. That's not a discount. That's the difference between paying for a sit-down dinner and paying for a stick of gum. A developer in a Shanghai gaming company ran a full file management workflow on V4 and paid 0.56 yuan, less than a tenth of what the same task cost him on a US model. And he said performance felt almost identical. Now, connect that to what's happening inside big companies. Visa spent 1.9 trillion tokens in March alone. Disney had engineers using Claude 51,000 times per day, and had to build a whole internal dashboard just to track it. Meta built an internal AI usage leaderboard before shutting it down. This is what token maxing looks like. And when a strong model gets 90% cheaper, companies don't just save money, they start running 10 times more. Jevons paradox is undefeated. Make something cheaper and more useful, people consume more of it. That's the real pressure on OpenAI. And here's where it gets genuinely interesting. V4 also came with a new vision research paper called Thinking with Visual Primitives. Most AI vision work is focused on seeing more clearly, higher resolution, more pixels, better cropping. This research takes a different route. It argues that the real problem isn't perception, it's reference. Models can see an image and still lose track of the same object while reasoning about it. Ask one to count people in a dense crowd and it loses count halfway through. Ask it to follow a tangled wire and it jumps to the wrong line. The fix is elegant. The system gives the model a virtual finger, bounding boxes and coordinate anchors that become part of the thinking process itself, not just the output. The model points while it reasons, and it does this while using far less visual memory, roughly 90 entries for an 800 by 800 image versus 740 for GPT and 870 for Claude. On maze navigation benchmarks, V4 scored 66.9% against GPT's 50.6% and Claude's 48.9%. Faster, cheaper, and it knows where to look. Now, right in the middle of all this, OpenAI had a week that was equal parts impressive and bizarre. GPT 4.0 started inserting goblins, gremlins, and trolls into completely unrelated conversations. Someone asked about camera gear and got a response about dirty neon flash goblin mode. OpenAI's internal fix reportedly banned goblins, gremlins, raccoons, trolls, ogres, and pigeons from system prompts. The internet immediately tried to make the model say goblin anyway. It still did. But here's what that chaos was covering. Codex is expanding fast, summarizing changes, working across Slack, Gmail, and Calendar, building presentations, tracking trade-offs. Sam Altman called it Codex's ChatGPT moment. And developers spotted something in backend logs, a route labeled GPT 5.6, not launched, but visible. Early routing, canary testing, something. The timing is hard to ignore. A Chinese open-source model attacks from below on price. OpenAI's current model has a public quirk. Codex is expanding, and the next version number is already in the infrastructure. So here's the question worth arguing about. Does the 90% price cut from DeepSeek actually hurt OpenAI, or does cheaper AI just grow the total market so fast that everyone wins, including the premium players at the top?